updates from the EPL action, but let's come back to Kenyan politics. And NASA co-principal Musalia Mudavadi has urged his co-principals to stay within NASA, irrespective of who is picked to be the flag bearer, saying splitting ways will ensure that Jubilee administration gets an extra 5 years in the August 8th general election. Listen in.
Mudavadi akipewa bahati ashike bendera ya NASA, Raila, Kalonzo, Weta wabaki hapo. Ikiwa Raila atapewa hiyo bendera, Musalia, Weta na Kalonzo wabaki pale. Ikiwa ni Kalonzo atapewa, Raila, Musalia na Weta wabaki pale. Na ikiwa ni Weta atapewa, Musalia, Raila na Kalonzo wabaki kwa hiyo hema. Kwa sababu nguvu zetu ni umoja. Tukijaribu kwenda kando, tugawanyike, hatutapata nafasi ya kung'oa hii serikali ya Jubilee. Na mumeelezwa vile hii serikali imefanya. Juzi wameleta ati wanataka kuleta budget vile mheshimiwa amesema hapa, kujaribu kufunika watu. Baada ya miaka 4 wanajaribu kusema sasa tunaongeza pesa ya wazee, tunaongeza pesa ya nani, tunaongeza pesa ya nani. Saa hii miaka 4 wamekuwa wapi?
Let's now talk about that disquiet in the health sector. And nurses are very unhappy lot with the recently signed collective bargaining agreement. They say they had great expectations which are yet to be met. Let's now speak to our Elvis Kosgei, who's joining us live from Eldoret. Elvis, good afternoon. What are the nurses saying?
Good afternoon there in studio, and I'm at Uasin Gishu District Hospital here in Uasin Gishu County. And with me, I'm joined by Dr. John B., who will later discuss about the CBA. It is exactly 4 months since the nurses struck a deal with the government by signing the recognition agreement. But ever since to date, we have not seen anything. The nurses are saying that they are not happy because they have not yet seen the fruits that you've negotiated with the government 4 months down the line, Bwana B.
Thank you, Bwana Elvis. I think to say that nurses are not happy is not true. I want to say that nurses are happy. Remember last year when we went on strike, we only did our strike for close to 7 days, beginning 5th December to 11th December 2017, whereby we struck a deal. The first deal we struck was the nursing service allowances, which were paid between 15 and 20,000. Number 2, we signed a recognition agreement, which we did on 14 December 2016. And then number 3, we did come out with a framework for collective bargaining agreement beginning January 2017, which was supposed actually to have come to a close on 2nd March 2017. But however, the process is still ongoing. We are at the tail end of that process of CBA collective bargaining agreement that our negotiators actually have fully engaged with other stakeholders, that is the Council of Governors, the national government, and us. And on 29th March 2017, there was a meeting between our negotiators and the other stakeholders, or rather the other partners, that is the Council of Governors and the national government, where they were going through or receiving through the minutes of all the sittings that were undertaken, just to confirm what was agreed and any other pending issue. The issue now is that that report is being earmarked for the National Executive Council of the Union, which is the day-to-day governing organ of the Union, so that it can be appraised on what transpired during those sittings and how far the process has gone, including the agreement so far reached. So that is where we are. But I want to say that I want to remind Kenyans, and particularly nurses, that the Kenya National Union of Nurses came into being in 2013, April 19th, whereby we were given the registration of our union through the courts, and under the Labor Relations Act, it is a requirement that once the union is registered and a certificate is issued, the next logical issue that the union must do is to sign recognition agreement with the government of the day. That one we did in June 2014, to be precise, 28 June 2014, where we signed a recognition agreement with the then national government. And immediately we did that as a requirement of the collective bargaining agreement. You must sign the recognition agreement. Then from there and after signing that document, you now embark on a collective bargaining agreement. We did a CBA with the national government by then, which came to a close in around 2015, March, whereby the document actually again was subjected to further negotiation, especially at the state law office, where it was supposed actually to be fine-tuned and to ensure that the language used, the legal wording of the sentences and what have you were supposed to have been done.
Okay. But for how long will the nurses wait?
I just want to tell our nurses that I don't want to give them a hope that tomorrow or maybe next week, but I want to tell them to be patient. Why I'm saying so is that this is a union that came into being in 2013. 4 years down the line, we are already doing a CBA and we are in the tail end. There are some unions which, when some of us were not yet born, they were in existence, like the Kenya National Union of Teachers. This is a union which was there before we came into being, and they did their CBA last year, which is going to be implemented in this year. So I'm telling our members, as much as we have been there for the last 3 years, actually we've achieved a lot in terms of defending and protecting our members. So if they can give the negotiating team a little time, then this process is going to be over. But I want to anticipate that maybe by close of this month, we shall be having our own CPA.
Okay. Many thanks, Bwana John B. there, the National Chair of Kenya National Union of Nurses, just giving us a perspective of how the CBA, of how the agreement, there have been ongoing talks with the government and how nurses are supposed to wait a little bit longer.
All right, many thanks, Elvis Kosgei, live for us in Eldoret. Let's come back to another story where more than 700 families of Ndoinet village in Kuresoi North are living under deplorable conditions after being displaced from their homes due to the construction of the 38 billion shillings Itare Dam. The families are demanding compensation from the government following their displacement. Victor Ogale visited the families and filed the following report.
On arrival at Ndoinet village, you meet the sight of locals constructing temporary structures using twigs, grass and tree branches. Japheth Korir, who together with other 700 families were displaced to pay way for the construction of the Itare Dam project, which will cost the Italian government 38 billion shillings, the largest of its kind undertaken in the South Rift after the 5.5 billion Chemususu Dam. Once completed, the Itare Dam will cover a surface area of 600 acres, displacing over 14,000 people who are living in this area. The project has, however, elicited mixed reactions among the locals, who are not contented with the compensation plan. The locals see the compensation was paltry, as some were given as low as 10,000 shillings, only meant for the destroyed farm produce.
Notice. Waliingia tu na kubomoa manyumba, hata kuna vitu walibomoa na vitu mahindi na hata makuku wengine walikuwa wanataka wakavamia yote wakabomoa na kuku.
Hata saizi trakta inaendelea kung'oa zingine, na hao wenye wanang'olewa idadi inazidi kukua kubwa kwa sababu walikuwa wameweka map, lakini sasa imekuwa kubwa, damu imeonekana ni kubwa, lakini wananchi wanazidi kumiminika kujenga. Na hawana mali wa kukaa, hawana chakula, hawana maji. Serikali tunaomba kabisa musikia malilio yetu. Sisi tuko na shida sana. Asa wa mama, tunalala na watoto wetu ambao ni vijana. Tunalala mali moja kwa sababu ya shida.
Life for 65-year-old Mary Taplet Goy, who has been living at the site of the controversial Itare Dam for 25 years, has been a daunting task. as she has been forced to make do with this temporary structure, living with her grandchildren whom were ailing from malaria at the time we visited. Even as these trucks continue raving through this tiny village, their presence continues to increase jitters among the displaced with fear of further displacement. An appeal by the village elders to the government to at least compensate the affected families or supply them with food provisions has fallen on deaf ears.
Kwa maana sasa tuko na njaa sana, watu wanaumia sana na wachalipa mahali bila wale watu wa agricultural officer walifika na hawa walikata pesa zetu. Sasa tuko na shida sana kulingana saa hii na wamama watoto wanaumia sana.
Rift Valley Water, who are the project implementers, claim the families were fully compensated for loss of livelihood because the 600 acres of land they occupied belonged to the government. Another impending danger is poor sanitation as the inhabitants lack toilets and ease themselves in the nearby forest.
Let's take you to the Lands Committee of the National Assembly that is investigating corruption allegations against National Land Commission Chairman Mohammed Swazuri. The probe took another turn on Monday as commissioners disowned their chairman. Appearing before the National Assembly's Committee on Land, the commissioners denied knowledge of letters which led to the irregular prepayment of 82 million shillings for a piece of land. The commissioners said their chairman worked unilaterally. Let's listen to what happened this morning.
Yes, correct. So it is possible, again, because of the independence of the commission, you know it better, it's possible not to get the documents that you want.
Yes, you're right. The only difference I will have with you is the registration of title is not a National Land Commission function. The deed file is purely national government function. The deed file is held by you and your officers. But you don't need to get it from the National Land Commission. So the deed file as today surfaced. How sure are you that it was not put into the registry at night? When you're now bringing it, do you now own the documents in it?
Let me ask again our Land Secretary to comment on that. Yeah, please.
I think, Chair, what I would want to clarify is that we as the ministry, after we got more information from your committee here, we have continued with our investigations and we are digging deeper. Maybe even what we have given you this morning, we will still continue to dig deeper because it is also in our interest.
Mr. Kaur, do you know how dangerous that statement you're making is? That determination of the ministry is a continuous process. You continue determining.
No, what I'm saying is, Chair,
ownership of property, you go to the registry and you say, so and so, how do you do a search? So if a search was lodged yesterday and a search is lodged today, can they yield different results?
No, no, Chair.
Yeah, so then if yesterday you had a determination and today you have another determination, how do we know what determination you'll have tomorrow?
If I may clarify, Chair, I'm not talking only about the title.
You're watching Newsdesk. We are taking a break, but please stay with us. We'll be back with more after these few messages.